Welcome to Forget the Date, the wildly inappropriate podcast where guests confess their worst, most hilarious, or most humiliating date experiences. And it's showtime, so please welcome the man who's been the cause of more creepy dates than Charlie Sheen. He's the host of Forget the Date. Here's Bill.
Hey everybody, welcome to Forget the Date, the podcast where guests tell their stories about their worst, most hilarious, or most humiliating dates. I'm your host, Bill, and I'm ready if you're ready. And
they're ready.
I love the timing on that.
Yeah. And with us on the first episode ever, we have guest Nora. How's it going, Nora?
Hey.
And we also have Natasha. How's it going, Natasha?
Oh, it's going.
And we're going to tell you date stories. But first, we're going to introduce ourselves individually. I'm Bill. I'm also the host of the true crime comedy podcast, Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. You might want to check that out. Natasha has a podcast as well. Tell us about your podcast a little bit.
So my podcast is Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you can't guess what it's about, you should probably reevaluate your situation. Now, I do sometimes go a little hog wild. It is definitely not made for children or anybody who gets offended. But if you're listening here, you're probably fine. But I have covered things like torture devices and weird ways people have died. So I do kind of
come on. Don't talk about your sex life here.
Oh,
I'll be a guest.
Yeah, so
Bill knows.
I thought that was funny too. So, so my little sensors back here. By the way, I like to tell everybody I can't touch anything back there; they're too far away. So anything moving back there is being moved not by me, and I am the only person in this house. Physically.
I'll be a guest. Bill knows. Yeah. I've got some weird deaths, huh?
So it's been interesting. I've been doing it about a year. So a lot of the spooky stuff that happens to me everywhere I go. So I literally can just set up anywhere, like I am now in my studio, and my sensors go off. I have spirit box sessions that I do. I'll go to some places and do investigations, and then I research the facility, and then I cover it on the episode and like to have guests on. Cryptids are my favorite. I like monsters, and I always keep an open mind, even if I agree or disagree. I like to look at all angles because
have you ever been to Skinwalker Ranch?
No.
You should come. I'm like 2 hours from there. Come visit.
If somebody wants to play for my pay, oh my gosh, now I did it. If anybody wants to pay for my plane ticket and all of that, because I'm also, by the way, Bill, it's been a while since I've talked to you. I am now a single mom. So. But it's just a little tight. I work more than one job trying to get the bills paid, so investigations are a little limited. I'm just kind of waiting to see how things go, but I have all the social medias. I'm on every platform you can listen to. I'm on YouTube. I've got a merch store, so I design all my own merch and do all of that stuff too. And actually, you can't really see it because my lights are dim over here. But I've got that was me. Don't pay attention to the lights. Pay no attention to the lights. What the hell was that? Okay, that one wasn't me.
Kamikaze.
But I have that I've started to use my bones to make stuff.
That is cool. I love it.
But yeah, so I do all the investigations and do all of that stuff. And if anybody's got anything weird that has happened or that they have seen, I always encourage people to submit them. I like to do listener story episodes. If I get enough to do them, I just kind of plow through. And if you guys want, so I have www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. And you guessed it, it's cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And back to you, Bill.
She's fun. It's a fun podcast. And just letting listeners know, the first handful of people on the first handful of episodes are people that have all been guests at one time or another on my true crime comedy podcast, Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. So I mean, it's like I've got these people, they know how to talk, so why not get them on to get the show off in a big way. So Nora,
I see what you did there, Bill. That's my specialty.
So Nora, introduce yourself.
I don't even know how to introduce myself anymore, man.
Hi, I'm Nora. Hi,
yeah.
Nora.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. I am addicted to starting massive projects and seeing where they go. I was on Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer, 3-4 episodes?
Something like that, yeah.
We did a 2-part series on my experience in the troubled teen industry and the activism I spent a few years doing on that. I hit burnout with the activism stuff, and I started a project called SLC Rock Renaissance in Salt Lake, focused kind of on our local music community. And because what we have here is different, it's special. And it's kind of like nothing I've ever seen before. One of my local front men puts it, it's because we love each other so much. Really it is, but there's like so much nuance to that. Like there's so much depth and meaning just to that one sentence. So now I just go to concerts and do photography and interview rock stars and stuff.
Yeah, but you've always got the troubled teen industry activism to fall back on if you decide to get back into it.
I do. And actually when I do stuff like this, like I'll have a primary focus. But everything I learn from every project kind of feeds everything else. So everything I'm doing with the music stuff now, that's kind of setting up a secondary foundation for when I'm ready to go back to the activism stuff, so I can take that to the next level.
Well, I hope you do, because I mean it needs to be told, definitely.
I agree, and I kind of do it here and there. I pull it into my music stuff quite a bit. There's a handful of pretty high profile artists right now who I've talked to pretty in depth about it. And every time I bring it up, every time I tell them my story, it's like, let's do something about this. So yeah, it's like I said, one feeds the other, even if it's kind of behind the scenes. But ultimately all of it'll kind of figure itself out.
Yeah.
Your day job's so much cooler than mine. I sell cars.
I don't get paid for it at all.
Oh, never mind. I take it back.
I wish I did. That'd be nice. But eventually, maybe someday.
Well, I mean, persistence pays off, and Nora, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to try and get all preachy here and everything. That's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is about having fun and making fun of idiots who took you out or who you went on a date with. So, but I for those who aren't familiar with CKCB, I was raised in a cult, and I was one of the first podcasts to actually shine a light on that cult. And now everybody is piling on. That cult is being exposed, and it's a beautiful thing. So
we saw what happened with Paris Hilton and Sika in the last month or so. They got that passed. It's a federal level bill, or law involving regulating the troubled teen industry more, and that's a huge step for us. It's really the turning point, I think, between the behind the scenes work that people have been doing for the last 30 years on that, and making it public and getting the public on board with it too.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess what I'm going to do, since this is the first episode, I will kick off, with a bad date story of my own. And I've got a bunch of them. I don't even know which one I'm going to tell. I'm going to make the decision when I open my mouth to start. But I think what I'm going to do moving forward is, I'm not going to do it unless, unless it's looking like it's going to be too short of an episode, then I'll just throw one in. But I've got a bunch to choose from. So, yeah. I've even got one where I was the reason there was a bad date. But we're not going to. I do, and I'm man enough to admit that. But and I will share that one, but not on this episode. So this one, let's see. Hilton Head. Okay. When I lived in Hilton Head, South Carolina, I was a freelance photographer. I did weddings and beach portraits and everything, and it was a really good hustle for me. I had a couple of boats that I was hooked up with, and doing like boarding photos with the lighthouse in the background. Then while the dinner cruise was out, I would run and get the pictures developed. I would bring them back and sell them to the people. But there was this bar right there under the lighthouse, and that was my bar. That was where I went. It was awesome. It was a bar slash seafood restaurant. Really, really cool.
Ugh.
Really cool place.
It's on the
right.
Gulf, dude. They've got.
I don't
tons
eat
of
seafood.
I only
But-
eat seafood on in coastal states.
I love seafood, but so I would go there after my day was done and all that stuff, because most of the work that I did was out of that particular plantation on Hilton Head Island. But there was this waitress that worked there, and I liked her. I had a thing for her a lot, and I kept flirting with her. You know, I really liked her, and at first she wasn't shooting me down, so I kept flirting. I kept asking her out. She's like, I don't know, and finally one day, I asked her out, and she's like, okay, we'll go out. I said, nice. When? How about next Saturday? I said, okay. So yeah, I'm like, are you working Saturday? She's like, no, I'm off Saturday. I said, okay, well, I'll just meet me here around the time that the boat gets back, and we'll go from there. Well, like the next day, I went and I did my thing, and then I went home. And then the next day I show up there. She was off that day, and one of the other servers comes up and is just like, man, you really got to her. She's like really excited about going out with you. I'm like, nice. Awesome. So that was Friday. The day of the date was the next day. So I go there, but still there was this concert that was happening right there on this courtyard area outside of the area. It was just this big field that they used for concerts. They would truck in a stage and all that stuff. It wasn't like a established thing. It's just like if there was going to be a concert there, they had to like pretty much bring the stage in along with everything else. So Don McLean was playing. Bye bye Miss American Pie. That guy.
Maybe Vader someday later.
But for now, a small fry.
I'm seeing him this summer.
Weird Al?
Yep, I have tickets. I got pre-sale tickets from Spotify.
Nice.
I jumped on that.
Yeah,
He's pleasures.
He's a bucket list concert for sure. But
I'm stoked. I'll take lots of video for you.
So, but she told me, she texted me and she told me that she was going to that concert. Like, what time's the concert end? She's like, it ends about 10 o'clock. I said, okay, cool. I'll be at the bar waiting. Where do you think this is going?
She doesn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
She showed up. She showed up.
With someone else?
Is this a catfish?
Nope. She wasn't a catfish. I knew her from the bar.
She brings her boyfriend.
Nope.
Girlfriend.
Nope.
Damn.
Did?
I wouldn't have minded about that. I think I just killed Nora. But no. She was at the concert. What do you usually do at concerts?
I don't go to concerts, so I don't know.
Drink. By the time she got there, where I was, she was schnockered. Just obliterated. Stupid drunk.
My son's dad did that once. Bucket list concert, and he ruined the whole thing.
So, it's like you're not going to have a date at her bar, even though her bar was the bar that she worked at. That was my bar, but we're not going to have a date at the bar that she works at. So we go to a different bar, a bar that was her bar, and I didn't know anybody there because it's not my bar. I had actually never been to this bar before. so we go in. She's drunk out of her freaking mind, and everybody's saying hi to her, and I was like, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she just starts, he likes me, and I like him, and and we're on a date. And
at least it wasn't like this fucker.
That would have been
Get outta
me.
here.
That would have been me,
Yeah.
except then I would have been like excited, but yeah, I still.
Who are you? Why are
Oh
you
my-
with me? Don't touch me there.
No,
I always have this viewpoint that people say what they're really feeling and thinking when they're drunk. So if she was plastered saying, I like him, because I too have been plastered and been like, I like you so much.
So it goes on and on and on. Just that having a conversation with her was an impossibility. I mean, she's slurring. She's just like, ah. So then all of a sudden, for some reason, she got up out, we were sitting at the bar. She got up out of her bar stool and she comes up behind me and she starts like closed fist just beating on my back. Like you were not punching me, not like
a massage.
punching me, but yeah. So, and
it's
I'm
called
just like,
percussion, by the way.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. I actually have a degree.
it felt good. It felt good. So
Yeah.
I wasn't complaining. It felt really good. And so it's just like, okay,
This is
whatever.
not going to turn into BDSM in a venue bathroom, is it?
No, this is a bad
Okay,
date.
good. I like it. Good one.
I'm like, I do that when I'm sober. It's too hard to tie yourself
my
up
God.
or tie anybody else up when you're drunk.
How do I feel this good? Okay.
So
Back on
so
track.
she's doing that and everything, and she stopped doing that, and then she got back in the seat and everything, and it's just more and more. And I think the only reason the bartender didn't cut her off is because the bartender knew that she was with me, and that was also I was obviously in control of myself, but she but also she was a regular there, so I guess she's kind of used to seeing her like this. but then finally she just basically got, she got up and started beating on my back again and everything, and then she tried to climb back up on her bar stool, missed, fell flat on her ass, like right there, just bam. It was a hard hit. I helped her back up, and she's like, "Thank you." Throws her arms around me, and I'm just. I looked at the bartender. I said, "You guys know her, right?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Will you make sure she gets home okay?" I said, "I'm out."
You left her there?
I was freaking
You
embarrassed.
didn't call her a cab?
No, I let them handle it. They knew her. I mean,
Boo.
but the next,
Bill the Baylor.
I mean, there.
Baylor Bill.
I've told this story to like friends and stuff like that, and it's like, dude, it's a sure thing. You were going to get laid that night.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no, I wasn't going to get laid that night. I said, even if I did, she probably would have wound up puking on me.
Or not even remembered.
Or, yeah, that too.
You still could have put a little more effort into making sure she fucking got home okay, because you don't know those bartenders. What if they're creeps?
Oh, she told me how much she knew the bartender and how good of
Before or
friends
after
they were.
she sloshed?
When we were there, the bartender knew her.
See?
I made sure of that. I
But
wouldn't.
you don't know them.
Yeah, I bounced, and the next day that she was working, when I showed up there at the bar that she worked at, she walked up to me. She's like, "I'm sorry. Like, I feel really stupid." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. We've all been there." I was forgiving and everything, but a second date wasn't on the table.
Yeah. Not going back for seconds.
No, and it really sucked because I was really into her, but I'm just like, damn, if you're like that, if you're that freaking bad, I don't think I need that type of
Yeah.
stuff around me.
You made the smart choice and didn't stick it in crazy.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that might be the
Well, my
first
dad
time in
can't say
all of
that.
history.
What, that a guy thought with his head and not his dick?
Yeah,
No, they didn't stick it in crazy.
both.
So, all right. So there's that. So I think Natasha, you're up.
Okay, so I was thinking about one, and then I was like, well, I don't know. It's pretty short, but I do have this other story which is kind of interesting. So we'll go with that one because I at least was. If alcohol was involved, I'll keep it with the program here, and it was legal. So I had this guy that I met online, doing online dating, and they were from Jamestown, New York. I highly doubt they'll hear this, but if so, fucking weirdo. Anyway, so
Yeah, weirdo.
Now, I did the responsible thing. First date, I was like, we're going to a public restaurant. We're meeting there. It's well lit. I told people where I was at. I turned on my location. I did all that I was supposed to do. Well, we ended up, we dated for a while, and I ended up moving in with him.
Uh-oh.
So he had this thing. I don't understand why. I still cannot figure out why, but it was maybe our second or third date. And he liked to take me to bars, pump me full of as much alcohol as he could to see how I would handle it. He thought that was funny. I'm like, at the time I was about 5'2". I weighed like $130, right? Like I was small. There and I mean, I was keeping up with big guys. And one time we went out to this bar and he pumps me full of all this alcohol, and I'm like, man, I don't feel good. And I said, I think I need some fresh air. So we walk outside. We're in this alley, and I was like, I'm gonna get sick. And he's like, it's okay, it's okay. So he pulls my hair. He's holding my hair as I'm ralphing all over my fucking shoes in an alley by a dumpster. And these two people walk up, come to find out they're friends of his, a couple that are friends of his. And he's like, and I'm in the middle of puking. He's like, oh, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, hi, so-and-so, as I'm throwing up all over my shoes. And he's got a hold of my hair.
Oh, hi, so-and-so.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And yeah. So then we go back inside because he wants to pump me full of more alcohol to see what I would do.
Hold up. After you have puked, it's easy to get back into it because
Not for me, it's not. Because then you constantly have that nauseous feeling like there's vomit in your throat.
Yeah,
that gag reflex.
If you're puking because you drank too much,
yeah,
that's different. But if you like I drink beer, and sometimes you'll get like a warm beer which makes a bunch of bubbles in your stomach. You go yak that up. You go yak that up. You can go right back to drinking.
Yeah, when I say he was pumping me full of alcohol, I don't do beer for starters. He was pumping me full of Crown and vodka, like anything he can get his hands on, and just giving it to me to drink. So we drink, I vomit in the thing, I meet the friends, we go inside, and then I am very well endowed, we'll put it that way. Top heavy would be another, I guess, good way to put it. And I wasn't even wearing anything revealing. It was like a tank top with like a shirt under. I had 2 layers on because you always got to be prepared. You got to keep those girls under control. So we go in and we're talking to his friends. And I shit you not, he's like, he catches one of them, like, I don't know if she was looking at my outfit, what the hell her problem was. And he's like, yeah, they're nice, aren't they? And I was like, excuse me? I am like barely stand up on my own drunk. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and grab a handful. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm sure it didn't come out, excuse me. It probably came out, but, and he literally just takes this dude's hand and like sticks it on my boob. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he was like, they're nice, aren't they? He's like, you'll never guess they're real. And then there was like some total stranger next to him who turned around and was like listening. He's like, do you want to feel them too?
Wow.
And I was like, can we not? Like, it was like literally go pump me full of alcohol. He was nice enough to hold my hair while I was vomiting.
It's like freaking boob trafficking.
Yeah. And
that's the name of the episode. Boob trafficking. That's the name of the episode.
And he literally just put their hand on it like they're his. And I was like, excuse me. The same guy, however, I refused to use one of my accessories because he wanted me to use said accessory on him. And it didn't matter how many times I cleaned that thing, I couldn't get the fact that it was up his ass out of my head. So it retired, and that douchebag, I ended up leaving because he would like grab a hold of me and like shake me and scream at me and stuff. And once I went to work with bruises, I decided it was probably time to get out. So
good call.
I waited for him to leave for work. I called 3 of my buddies. When I say 3 of my buddies, it was 3 of my regular customers from my job when I was waitressing. I was like, get over here and help me. And they literally met me there, trucks in hand, and we just loaded up the trucks and got out while he was at work. Didn't even tell him. He just came home and I was gone.
Good on you. I mean, that if he's gonna do that, if he's gonna boob traffic you,
yeah,
he's gonna start.
It's titty trafficking.
He's gonna start titty trafficking. That's even better.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Hashtag titty traffic. But yeah, so that was definitely an interesting date.
Well, yeah, if he's going to do that, then he's eventually going to want to, like, hey, this is my buddy John.
Yeah, he ended up sleeping around with some tramp that worked in the electronics department at Walmart. I also found out about it, went there and introduced myself.
Oh man, that's just wrong. I mean, if you're into that thing, that's fine. If you're into that, that's fine. But
or at least talk to me about it or ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure you're into it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't traffic titties, people.
Yeah. Titty trafficking is not. At least they couldn't cut it off and run away with it. Be all lopsided.
What are you doing there, Nora? Looks like you're writing something.
I know. I mean, Bill knows. People will run off with them.
You cut out there for a second. What?
Oh, I said
run off with your titties?
I mean, who was Ed Gein? Like, what was that all about?
Oh, yeah.
He definitely did.
He did.
Well, but not till they were already dead. I mean, I was
Jerry
in a bar
Brutos.
full of people.
See? There you go.
Jerry Brutos.
I was thinking about him and his, I was going to ask him if he'd ever been on the dating game.
Rodney Alcala.
Yep. I think Ted Bundy did it too. Dahmer would have done it if his victims had them.
It wouldn't have made it far. He'd have been like just eating
other
out of
things,
it.
though.
That's
Yeah.
so gross.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't
It's a
like
nipple pepperoni.
Oh no! Now we've devolved into our shared interest. This is not good.
Yeah, this isn't the true crime podcast.
Oh yeah. Anyway, let me shift gears here.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm almost a full glass of wine, or Jesus, a whole bottle of wine in so far.
My God.
For the record, she didn't start when we hit record on this episode. She was going before that.
I started right before I got on here.
Right before?
Pretty much.
All right, Nora, it's your turn.
Can I? Okay, so I'm gonna go way more innocent with this one. Technically, this is my first ever date, but it wasn't really a planned date. It kind of just turned into that. So I was it was 6th grade. I had one friend. We went to a Catholic school, and she went to church with these kids who were a year older than us in middle school. They were having a middle school dance at their all boys Catholic school.
Oh, boy.
It was the boys' job to invite girls from other schools. So he invited her, and she invited me. She had a huge crush on this kid. Like, this kid was like all she talked about for like 3 months.
Wait, hold on.
You were the third wheel.
Yeah, basically.
Dance.
No, but it was the guy's job to recruit girls, so he was the
pimp, the Catholic pimp.
He was tiny.
The Pope pimp.
He was tiny titty trafficking.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Were you teenagers yet?
Oh, that was
teenage titty trafficking.
I'm sorry, I had to keep with the theme.
I know. Oh, it gets better. So we go to this dance. She introduces me to the kid. And at some point throughout the night, I don't know, like she and I got separated. I do that. I am what I can refer to as a squirrel. You can ask anybody at a concert. I constantly just zipping around. Hey, how are you? How are you? Hey, introduce myself, you know.
I'm the same way.
Constantly. And that's why I am so well connected, because I'm always, hey, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And so ultimately, halfway through the night, me and this kid end up down in the basement making out.
Naughty, naughty.
Well, she found out.
As long as you repent on Sunday, apparently it's okay.
She found out, of course. That was my first kiss too. So she found out, and it just so happened that my parents had left that day for a 2-week vacation in Germany, and I was staying with my friend's family.
Awkward.
Yeah. And there's nothing anybody could have done. Like, her mom couldn't like take me home or anything. She couldn't separate us. And my friend was so mad. Her mom came and picked us up. Her mom didn't say a word until she pulls up in front of McDonald's. And she goes, you guys are going to go inside and you're going to sit down and you're going to have french fries and milkshakes until you're friends again. And so we did.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, fuck you, bitch. Give me another milkshake.
So we did. And now we're still friends. And whenever we know the other's having a hard time, we'll send them a McDonald's gift card.
That is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And we laughed about this kid constantly. He's got like 8 kids now. Yeah.
So you lucked out. You dodged that bullet real
went
fast.
the Catholic route with that. Yeah, no. He's like hardcore, like religious, into church. Got 8 kids. Like,
oh, please let me tell
we
my roofie
both
story.
dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, you did.
You gotta let me tell my weird story that's not a date.
Okay.
Oh, is Nora done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, so sorry all you religious people out there. There's a reason I don't do religion. Aside from my youth pastor who was 35 laying a big one on me when I was 14. Aside from that, so I go to this bar. Another rule I have now. I never go to, well, I don't usually go out anyway, but don't go to bars with women. Women will screw you over any chance they get. You always go with a man because they're going to watch you closer. And they're going to make sure you don't leave with anybody you're not supposed to be leaving with.
That's why I hang out with the bands at concerts. Because
now,
I can trust them.
before I learned this lesson, or what taught me this lesson, was there's a little tiny bar in this little tiny town. This is just, oh my God, full circle. I worked at McDonald's. There you go. For 10 years. Like, I was there forever. I was a manager, all this stuff.
Yeah, you better have been after 10 years.
Yeah, every Wednesday, the Pentecostal church, when they got out, would come eat at McDonald's at the same time, same day, every week.
So they're trying to kill off their parishioners?
Well, I can't get that. Anyway,
Right.
they were very rude.
Goals.
Yeah, they were very rude most of the time, but there was this one guy that was kind of cute, right? He was kind of cute.
Yeah, that's how they always get us.
Then he just disappeared. Like, I just never saw him again. I'm like, well, that's weird. So fast forward like 8 years, 10 years or something stupid. I'm at this bar with my friend. And we're, out there to get jiggy with it on the dance floor, having drinks. And I'm like, listen. I'm like, listen, lady, I got to take a leak. I need you to watch my drink. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can totally do that for you. I'm like, okay, thanks. I'm like, now don't move. Keep an eye on it. I'll be right back. Because I'm very cautious for the most part. I was like, my friend's going to be able to watch my drink. Cool beans. So I go to the bathroom and I come back and she's not at the table. She's dancing with some dude, like kind of close to the table, but not like right next to it. And I'll be damned, it's that guy who's standing like kind of like, but not like at the table, but by the table, close enough to like be like, oh, hey. And I'm like, wait, I know you, don't I? So then after having a long conversation, I realized that he was that guy from the Pentecostal church. And I mean, this guy was there every single week for years. And I'm like, okay, my friend's just like a few feet away. It's probably fine. So I finish my drink. And I don't remember much after that.
Oh shit.
I vaguely remember him laughing, and he had, oh my God, I'll never forget this. He had braces
Oh,
as an adult.
man.
Oh no, it gets worse.
And you still thought he was cute.
Well, as long as he didn't smile, he was all right.
Resting bitch face.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't remember, but apparently I left with him. And I don't even remember what car he drove. I don't remember anything. I only remember I had my head because I was exhausted. Yeah, everything was spinning and I was tired. And I had my head pushed up against the window on the passenger seat. And all I remember is seeing all of these trees. And it was wintertime. So they were all like dead trees. And it was like getting dark. And I couldn't even focus on, like, I didn't know where I was going. I couldn't remember. And I am one of those visual people. All I have to do is go somewhere once and I'll never forget where I'm at. And I was just going, and then it was like blank. And the next thing I knew, I was literally tied to the dude's bed. It was horrible.
Holy shit.
You're lucky you didn't end up on Bill's podcast, not as a guest.
Yeah. And I don't remember much except kind of like I was trying to get up and leave. And I remember him looking at me and he told me, it was like, as long as you do what I say, you'll be fine.
Holy crap.
And
then I found out his name was Ted Bundy.
I was like,
or Anthony Soul, my current episode.
Yeah. And at this point,
he's a good one. I love him.
Yeah. Everything's still foggy. Like I can't, like, I just remember him kind of saying that. I remember there was a kitchen. So like he was there with me for a while and then he left and went into the kitchen. I remember hearing like the sink turn on and I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to get out. But I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at. I was in the middle of freaking nowhere. No car, no nothing. And he came back and then left like a couple more times. And then I don't remember anything except suddenly I was just in a parking lot. He had driven me back to town and just dumped me in a parking lot in the middle of winter with just like a jacket. Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I wouldn't really call that a
You're
date.
lucky you were alive when he left you in the parking lot.
Well, I come to find out when I started asking around because I was like, what the hell? What's going on? He disappeared because he was dealing cocaine and got sent to prison for a long time because of the amount of cocaine.
I'm wondering if he was a serial killer that got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, but yeah, so that was my Pentecostal guy who, like I said, for years, this guy never missed service. He was there. He was polite. He dressed the part. And that is what happened.
Talk about religious trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's why I was like, well, it wasn't really a date, but it was pretty messed up.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
damn. I mean, I've
Forget
got that
date.
Thank God I've never seen him since.
I've got that. Yeah. I've got that entire scenario, multiple times on CKCB.
Yep. I can name like
the weird
8.
part
What
is,
about
like,
orange socks?
Yeah, right?
That was one.
And my thing is, like,
Henry Lee Lucas.
I've tried to remember and I can't. It's literally the most I can remember is, which is creepy because it's like this eerie, I'm in this car and it's just all I'm seeing are just dead trees. And for like, it felt like an eternity. It was just tree. Like I was in the woods and just kept driving in the woods. And I don't know how long I was driving. He was driving in the woods because I was out of it. It could have been 5 minutes. It could have been 20. I don't know. But I don't remember what the house looked like. I don't remember what car it was. I don't remember anything. I don't even remember getting in and out of the car. I mean, nothing. It was just blank. So I was like, he had to have either drugged me in or carried me, or maybe I was like, because I don't even remember walking.
God.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. I mean.
And then people wonder why I don't want to go to bars.
That's kind of
That's why I don't drink.
I drink at
I've
home.
seen too many bad things happen to people. I'm a stoner, not a drinker, so
No, I drink at home.
I feel in control of myself and less vulnerable.
This I can handle. When I start doing shots or something.
When I drink, it's at home or very, very rarely on certain occasions with certain very trusted people around.
Yeah.
I know my limits.
I always do shots because it's one. You don't leave your drink unattended.
I don't do liquor. I don't do liquor because I
prefer it. I don't do beer.
Bad things happen.
Unless it's with drowning pool.
Bad things happen to me when I'm drinking liquor. So I haven't had liquor other than a random shot or two. Probably
I'm very
20
sheltered,
years.
and I don't go out very often. Like, I've only been out to a bar maybe 3 or 4 times, and that was one of them.
Damn.
So I would love to go out, and even if it has nothing to do with drinking, but to go out and do stuff. But it's just it really screwed with me.
Well, yeah, look at what happened to you.
Yeah, and so whenever people are like, "Oh, why don't you go do something?" and I'm like, "With who?" and they're like, "We can go by yourself," and I'm like, "No, I can't. I don't go anywhere and do anything by myself."
Yeah, that's
I had people
insane.
follow me out of stores and drive 5 miles down the road until I ran a red light and cut over traffic to lose them. And they followed me around the store for half an hour, no matter what lane I went down. And I ended up conning some guy at the register next to me to pretend to be my husband and walk me to my car. Good times.
Don't be creeps, okay?
Yeah,
that's
no creeps.
Yeah, no, just don't be freaking creeps. I mean, damn. I mean, seriously. Think about. I don't get guys sending dick pics.
They're ugly anyway.
That has never once worked for a guy.
Radiohead said it perfectly. I'm a creep, but they immediately followed it up with "I'm a loser."
Yeah,
now I'm gonna have that stuck in my head.
But not once in the history of the internet has a guy been chatting with a girl. She's kind of blowing him off, takes a picture of his dick, sends it to her, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm on board. I'll be over in 20 minutes." That is never... Natasha?
Well,
what
I
are
had
you
to
doing?
try it after seeing it.
She's not alone here.
I was like, girl,
we've all done it.
I'd be like, oh, well, I don't know. And then it's like, now granted, I do find all penises revolting. All right.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to see one. I think they're hideous. I would much rather look at a naked woman than a naked man any day of the week. Or throw on some boxer briefs. Oh,
Me too.
So much hotter. So much hotter.
Or leather pants. Yeah.
And then my thing is, they're like, well, why don't you like to put it in your mouth? I'm like, well, do you want to suck a dick? Because... And they're like, no. I'm like, well, what makes you think that I would do? They're like, oh, well, would you want to eat tacos? I was like, all day long, baby. Like, who cares? Like, that's not the thing. But sometimes I have had at least 1 or 2 people that I've been like, like, you're 45 minutes away from me. I really don't want to drive. And then it's like, did pick it. I'm like, I'll be there in an hour.
Well, because at that point, it's not the, well, what if it's okay? That would satisfy me. And I know it.
But there is such thing as too big, fellas. Just saying. When you get to where you're like, dear God in heaven, I think I'm tasting it, there's a problem.
I'll take your word for it.
Just saying. Nora's over there.
I am a self-sadist.
Now, okay.
I like a lot of pain, but not in that department. I want to enjoy it.
I'm going to put a dick pic on here right now.
We should do a music podcast, seriously. One of these days.
We'll
start that.
That's my dick. And for those of you listening on audio, I have a guitar pick with the word dick written on it. That's my dick pick.
I have a guitar pick with my favorite bassist on it.
Is he a dick?
This isn't a guitar pick.
You know what? Honestly, sometimes he is. That guy, oh my God, he's a fucking prankster. He is.
Don't say the name. Don't say the name.
I thought I don't know anybody's name anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, no, it's okay. Nobody knows his freaking name. Everybody's going to, though. Everybody's going to. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, and guess who's my co-pilot? That fucking guy.
I just want to get out of the house. If you ever do anything in Indiana, you got to hook me up.
Oh yeah, I will for
I don't
sure.
get out and do anything, and it's so depressing. Literally for 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, my son's been out of school. And
Where in
I am
Indiana?
freshly, I'm like near Bloomington.
Okay.
I'm like an hour from Indy. But I am freshly single, okay? And I've had a couple times, like, the kid leaves, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I do nothing. I sit in my house and make things out of bones. That is, I literally had this dating thing, and somebody sent me a message, they're like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just putting epoxy on my skull. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing my bone stuff, and I got to drill holes in my bones. And they're like, what? And I'm like, my bones. So I sent him a picture. And he goes, I don't know how I feel about that. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, if you can't take the weirdness, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
It's really depressing because I am 98% sure I met my soulmate and I can't be with them. It's depressing.
Yeah.
Like, I know
sorry.
them from a past life. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think this was a pretty good launch of the podcast.
Sorry, yeah, I went a little dark there. Sorry, guys.
No worries. I mean, it like 2-3 people just telling a date story and everything. There's got to be more.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and shit happens, right?
Right.
I mean, I've had a date where, we tried to horizontal mambo and it just didn't work. I mean, nothing. And they were so embarrassed. And then, but I was like, it's fine. It's fine. If we do it again, it doesn't work, then I'll probably pass. But it might just be nerves, Got the benefit of the doubt. And let me tell you, it was definitely nerves. So, but weird stuff happens. You got to be able to laugh at it, because even if that person, say that person is the one that you're going to be with, it could be 6 months, a year, 20 years from now. You're going to laugh, be like, remember our first date when, hopefully it's not these stories, except for the kissing Catholic, but I mean, that one at least wasn't horrible. And you got a really good friend of the deal. So I think it's a win.
Definitely. Well, I mean, thanks for listening, everybody. That was, I think it was a very successful launch. I had a good time. Did you, ladies?
Yes.
Definitely.
Let's do it again. I think
I got to get out of this chair and I'm like,
woo,
whoo, okay.
Permanently.
But yeah, if you want to come on to here and tell your story, email the podcast at forgetthedatepodcast@gmail.com. And we hope to see you, everybody's
Eventually.
welcome. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if
you go both ways.
I don't care if
I'm a poet and didn't know it.
I don't care
It's
if you go
close
both ways.
I don't.
I think the only way that I would draw the line would be if you're into kids or animals.
If it is illegal, there we go.
Right. If it's illegal, we don't want to hear it. Everything else, we're good.
Immorally
or highly
illegal.
morally questionable in any other way.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, and we hope you enjoyed it. And definitely, if you want to come on this show and tell your bad date experience, just send us an email at forgetthedatepodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, later.
Bye.
Peace.
And that puts the wraps on another tragically embarrassing edition of Forget the Date. Thanks to our guests for stopping by, and thanks to you for tuning in. Got a ridiculous story of your own that you want to share with strangers around the world? Bill would love to hear from you. Just drop him a line at forgetthedatepodcast@gmail.com. By the way, the opinions and lifestyle choices expressed on this podcast are those of the host and guests, and they in no way reflect those of decent people with common sense and sound moral values. Good night.